Welcome, Dr. James Beckett, Sports Card Insights. Another outtake episode from Hobby Hotline from last Saturday. I was on with Adam and Orlando. Got lots of good questions from the live audience. Thank you, sponsors, Beckett, ComC, Heritage Auctions, Hugs the Scott Auctions, Mike Stadium Sports Cards, Burbank Sports Cards, Tops, Upper Deck, and Panini. This was the final segment. It's an hour-long show. Adam was manning the switchboard and pulling in comments. That's fun for me to just participate with a different group each time. Enjoyed getting to see Orlando in action, but here it is.
Some info was announced about Topps Chrome update this year. We have the cover athlete, Jackson Holiday, one of the rookies this year. And this is where you're going to find a lot of those MLB debut patches. Ryan Cracknell from Beckett, one of the great hobby writers in this industry, put out kind of the list. And this list is impressive. They've done a good job putting all of the debut patches in one product and not spacing it out, in my opinion. Ellie De La Cruz and then Paul Skeens, and I think Jackson Holiday was also in Series 1. But players who are in Series 2 are now going to be getting their debut patches in Topps Chrome Update, which I think is a really great thing. This will be the second year of these MLB debut patch cards.
I think it's one of the best ideas that Topps has come up with in so many years. You're literally getting a game used patch from the first game, or at least the first year. And I heard they also took the patch from Shohei's 50-50 game, and they're going to use that one also in the future. I think stuff like that is super cool, and I think those are super collectible. 20 years from now, I think those are going to be some of the most desirable cards.
The fact that we know where the patch is coming from specifically, I'm pretty sure they only wore it in the one game. So we know it's coming from that game because over the course of the last couple of years, we've seen an increase in patches that are not really special. They're just patches they just toss into cards. Do you think they should decrease the amount of patch cards they have in product in order to use patches and stuff from actual game situations? Or are you okay with the increased number of the patches, but them not really having that much significance other than this debut patch?
It's just a business decision. If they have access to the second game patch or something, if it gets too gimmicky, that's a problem. But collectors like cards with interesting attributes. This is a big winner for them. Yeah, I don't know that it's a 10X thing, but it's cool. If you got one of these, you'd show your friends, whether you're a serious collector or a casual collector. That'd be impressive. But I think they're going to space them out over some different series. There's no reason to put them all in one product if they don't want to. We're moving into the era where Topps and Fanatics is going to be the single licensee for each of these sports. And whatever works in baseball, they're going to be able to do in basketball and in football, and Upper Deck can copy it in hockey, but you could have your debut patch, you could have your all-star patch, your last game patch, your no-hitter patch. I'm just in favor of anything that's truth in packaging. I don't like barely touched jersey that was thrown over your head and never used in a game to be called game used. If it's game used, I say these are the games. And
totally.
Not that we're going to photo match everything, but there ought to be integrity there that if you say it's game used, it's really game used. If it's player worn, I don't even know what that means. And that price should be lower, but there's a lot of unsophisticated buyers that just think, oh, good, that's cool. And if it's autographed, I don't care as much if it's autographed, whether it's game used or some kind of a replica patch.
Like Dr. Beckett has said, it's just a business decision ultimately. Unfortunately, it does come down to us as the customers, like trickle-down effect or whatever in terms of pricing. For example, Victor Wembanyama patches, some of them are game worn and some of them aren't. I wish they would just come out with less patch cards. Maybe it's fixing the configurations and trying to just change up the way products are put together. And maybe that is a little bit tougher, but either way, I would like more game worn stuff, but it's probably easier in the MLB to get game worn stuff. In the NFL or in basketball, it's probably a little bit harder because they have half the game. So you never really know what jersey is going to go with what. And players might just not want to give up their jersey. But that debut patch, we know exactly what game it came from because it's from their first game. I love the last game patch. I think is really a really good idea. I've always thought rookie cards and retiring year cards could be an interesting kind of nuance within the sports card.
This World Series. Get some patches from the World Series.
Yeah, that would be.
Collectors don't want less. They want more. Right. But if you say you have a chance to get a base card or a card that has an embedded swatch of the player's T-shirt that he wore on the way to the game, they'll say, give me the T-shirt.
Yeah.
And
right.
It's a plain white T-shirt.
Yeah. I just wish that they were able to invest more in getting more of these patches that are actually game worn or finding them from specific moments in their career, because we don't even know what player worn really means.
We do know it means not worn in a game, and
It's
maybe
like
not even ever
the,
touching their skin. It touched the other jerseys. My buddies at the card companies have told me. So we do know, and we can assume the worst, but it does not have as much effect on the secondary market as you would think, because the more casual collectors think, hey, cool, it's a relic.
And they want
and like you said, they want more.
An autograph. They want something from that player.
Yeah.
And that will lead you on to our next topic, which is the autograph. My question was, have we jumped the shark on these autographs already? With some of these athletes that are literally just putting an initial now, it's ridiculous the kind of autographs they're signing right now.
It's not jumping the shark. It's just there's a continuum there. In the old days, you'd probably rather have an autograph card than a relic card. But as the autographs shrink and the relics improve and increase, would you rather have some really cool patch, huge patch, or some really dynamic card of Richardson that instead of this AR, or maybe he's down to just A now, but there will be a backlash, and we'll see it in the secondary market, that people will pay more for better game used stuff and better, more legible autographs. And then the players need to go learn how to write cursive. They need to write some kind of an autograph. And I've had a few sessions back in the old days where I'd sign a bunch of autographs for the guys at the company. It's not fun. It's not fun signing 50 autographs at a time, but each one of them is for a person. So you ought to give it some attention. But I haven't done 500. I haven't done 5,000. So AR is at the end of the line. I'd like to see some righteous indignation on behalf of not just the card companies, but the Players Association, that this is part of their responsibility to the fans to make a better effort. So
I agree.
That frustrates me.
And then hard to argue that anything in the hobby has become more watered down than autographs.
Yeah, if the player comes in and they all of a sudden have to sign, first deal, 5,000 autographs. These guys are young guys. They want to go out and party and have fun. They don't want to sit there and sign 5,000 autographs. So they take the shortcut. But I think that ruining the hobby, these crappy autographs that you don't even know who it is anymore. It's not like Mickey Mantle or anything like that. Every product has so many autographs of the same guys every year. How many 1B autographs are out there? Are we going to get 1 million autographs eventually?
Yeah, I think
how much is too much,
Yeah, with the Wemby autographs, they bought that exclusive license for him, so they have to figure out a way to make their money back. It always comes down to business. It comes down to a number on a spreadsheet, essentially. So if Topps bought the Wemby auto exclusive for $1 million, they are going to have to try and sell $1 million worth of products that include that to make their money back. And they're not even just trying to break even here. They're going to try and sell $2 million. They can double their money, essentially. Unfortunately, go ahead, Dr. Beckett.
He just sold $24 million worth of Wemby product that had 6,000 autographed Wembys in it. Some of them are combos, but so it won't be 1 million right away, but they're getting $1,000 a card for the 8-card pack. And there's a couple autographs in there. So that's 6,000 autographs of Wemby dumped on the market. And that's going to be a lot of excitement in the beginning, but it's got to water down the autographs side. There'll be a day of reckoning for autographs.
What are they going to be worth 5 years from now when there's going to be 10 times the amount for each player? You look at P. Rose's autograph today, or Bob Feller.
Do you think Panini should be monitoring these autographs a little bit more, especially in this specific year, because they don't have C.J. Stroud, they don't have Bryce Young, they don't have Will Levis. Anthony Richardson is the biggest name they have coming out of that product. Bijan Robinson, running backs, but from a quarterback perspective, do you think there needs to be some regulation on what these autographs look like? Do you think they need to sign the autograph and be like, no, you need to change your autograph?
Good luck with that. Come on. These are big stars. The guys I know that have monitored for Panini and predecessor companies, it's wonderful. In fact, I've actually sat in on a couple things like that where the player is autographing and you're there and you're talking to them, you're observing, you're encouraging them. But in one case, it was an all-day session. So you're trying to break it up. And the last thing you need to do is, hey, dude, that's unacceptable. It's hard to do that, but they're there. Yeah. Number one, making sure they're signing every card. Let's just say it needs to be, in other words, it needs to be characteristically like AR now is that you could say, okay, that's his shorter signature. But if it just becomes a dot or a squiggle and you can't tell it from somebody else's. So yeah, the Panini guys, everybody is trying to sit in on these autograph sessions as much as possible to, number one, to verify that they're really signing or they're not doing auto pen and they're not having a secretarial or a sister or wife or girlfriend signing. So that's what they're doing. But the short signature, it's smart for them to have a shorter signature than Anthony Richardson. It won't even fit on.
He does have a long name.
It won't even fit on the sticker that we're trying to get rid of, or on the card. In fact, sometimes they write off the sticker. So I think the card company, my buddies that do that stuff, that's the least of their worries, that the guy's signing it with more of an abbreviated signature.
I'm sure Panini is just, we just need to get these autographs. In theory, I wish they maybe cared a little bit more.
No. Don't assume they do care. It's just they can't. Are you going to twist Anthony Richardson's arm?
Right, yeah.
His left arm, or going to get in trouble. You have no leverage as long as they sign. Ryan Gray found out that if you don't sign at all, he sued an athlete and won and got it resolved. But if they sign it in any way, then it's just the way it is.
It's the education system, and I agree with that. A lot of these people just don't even know how to write in script anymore.
And Richardson is players that make it to the NFL. They have been on that pace for almost their whole lives, probably at some point. Like some of these players, like when they're 10 years old, they're just like, this guy could go pro. And then eventually they maybe don't care as much about learning cursive. Good luck trying to get Anthony Richardson. Athletes just don't really care. They just want to sign in and get it over with. I could definitely see that, unfortunately.
Adam, I care, but everybody, I think, occasionally has to give a digital VeriSign. You have to use your finger on the iPad or device, whatever, to mimic your signature. And it's legal from these third-party authentication of like your tax return. But my signature looks like a first grader because I'm using my finger in there because I didn't grow up doing that. My wife can do it and it looks better, but me, it looks like I'm a little kid. And so that's what it's like for these athletes. And people could say, hey, that's not good enough. Do a better job. I said, I'm doing my best. I just don't know how to do digital cursive with my blobby finger on a screen there. And so it looks stupid and it's not legible. There's a J and a B in there somewhere.
I'm sure you've been working on your actual real autograph for quite some time. And if you struggled with the digital thing, it just shows maybe it's harder than we think to sign all these autographs, especially when it's like you've signed, like you're saying, like 5,000 of them. You get to the end, you're just like, get this over with here.
I would still like to see them take pride in their signature and understand this is going to somebody that is a fan, that loves you, that really admires you. And something that they're going to prize possession of your autograph. Take pride in that.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to get that across to the athletes, but I think that's the message that some of their, maybe the coaches or maybe their agent can say, hey, guys, think about this. This is going to be something one of your fans or something. A lot of times maybe they don't think about it. They just, hey, let's get this done and get it out of the way.
No, the problem, guys, is that almost every collector would rather have a bad autograph of a great player than a great autograph of a bad player. Legibility, it's all about the player. And so if that player is pictured and it's Tom Brady with the TB12 kind of thing, and he was in a hurry and it's smudged, it's still a Tom Brady autograph.
Yeah. People would rather have the autograph, even if it's not a great autograph of a great player, rather than a phenomenal looking autograph of a player who maybe is like the backup or something like that.
Inversely proportional. The worst players have the best of
right. Yeah.
Because they're busy practicing their penmanship instead of practicing their free throw.
The man